Dr. Somersall is a PhD in chemistry. He's also an MD, practicing MD, and he's one of those rare individuals that have been able to maintain work in a position in mainstream science while being at the same time very, very strong advocate of what is alternative science and dietary supplement and nutrition. He has been lecturing on this for many, many years. He has written many, many books in this field, bridging science, medical science, and also dietary supplements. And so he's very, very well aware of what is out there. When he heard about what we were doing, he wanted to come and just see for himself, what really that was. So we sat down, we talked for a few hours, and all I can say is that of all the the scientists with whom I've talked about the concept, it always takes some time, for them to really understand the implication of this. And I was with Dr. Somersall, and probably about 15 minutes in the talk, he's just shaking in his head. He says, if all of this is true, this is unbelievable. And at the end, showing all the data, he just realized that this was really something that was going to change, health and wellness and the way that we look at medicine. So we asked him if he wanted to join us. He was happy to do so. And to tell you a little bit more about it, please give a good hand to Dr. Somersall.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, good morning, STEM Tech. First of all, I should tell you it's a great honor for me to be here. To think that I have the opportunity to become part of this new revolution, and I will tell you a little about how I feel in a minute about this. First, I should probably tell you how I got here, and then I'll tell you why. So the how. The how is that Don Kahn and I go back a long way. We've been involved in this sort of stuff in this industry for over 20 years. We've known each other for over 20 years. And I don't know what prompted him, but he probably thought there was a good fit between STEM Tech and me. So he picked up the phone, called me, and after he sent me to the website, and I checked it all out, and he sent me some products, and I started using them and so on, I was overwhelmed by what I learned. So eventually, he got me to speak to Ray on the phone, and then we set up so I could come down to the head office and visit with the management and with the staff there. And I was so impressed by everything I saw. And I jumped in hook, line, and sinker because I know something good when I see it. Okay? Let me first tell you a little about me because it's obviously important, I guess, for you to know since you might have to refer to this. I come from a small island in the Caribbean called St. Kitts, a very tiny little place. I finished high school there, and then I went off to university in the University of London in England, did my first degree in chemistry back in the 60s, and then I moved to the United States. I did a year at the University of Pennsylvania, and then moved on to the University of Toronto. I did my master's and my PhD there back in the early 70s. And then I started doing research and so on, and then I went back to teach at the University of Toronto, and eventually I got into the vitamin industry in the early mid-70s. And vitamins brought me to the interface with medicine. So one day, one Tuesday night, I remember it like it was yesterday, in 1983, I suddenly got this idea. I should go to medical school. Because I thought if I got a degree in medicine and science to put it together, this can be really something interesting. So the next morning I got up, I went to the University of Toronto, I got the application forms, I filled them out, and to cut the story short, I got into medical school, I went to medical school, finished medical school, and started practicing medicine. But during that time, remember, I went to medical school having already got into vitamins and nutrition and lifestyle and health. So I went right through medical school listening with one ear, but with my other ear tuned to something else. So I'm not a typical kind of medical graduate, but I started practicing medicine, and as soon as I started practicing, I became very aware that doctors are so good at picking people up at the bottom of the cliff after they tumble over the cliff. And I thought, man, if we could only put up a guardrail up here, what a big difference it would make. So I got more and more involved in wellness and health, and then I started writing books. I've written 10 books, most of them in the area of wellness and nutrition. And then I started going to radio and television and all that sort of stuff, basically becoming a communicant, because somebody has to take this important message out to the world. And the more I got involved, then we started traveling and went all over the world doing this and so on. So I come to you with a passion. I'm very passionate about this because the problem of health today is not another medical breakthrough. We have so much medical science, so many drugs, so many surgical procedures, great hospitals, and still people are suffering. So something tells me that there's something more. They did a study at Harvard University a number of years ago, and they showed that if you take all the factors which influence the quality of health and the length of life in real terms in our industrial societies, only 10% comes from the health system. 20% comes essentially from genetics. So 20% environmental. But here's the bottom line. 50% is lifestyle. The things individual people, not patients, individual people choose to do. And that's where we come in. So that tells a little of how we got here. And I just want to publicly, on my very first presentation at a STEM Tech event, first acknowledge Don Kahn, because he is the one who gave me this link. And I now feel connected. I now feel empowered. And over the next few years, you'll see what we get to do. I also want to tell you, well, let me begin to tell you why I did this. So I'll begin by starting with, let's see if I can get a first slide up on the screen. I don't know how to do this. Can you give me the first slide? There we go. I'll give you 4 top reasons. Everything I do in 5s. But I thought about the 5th one, and I'll surprise you. So let me give you the 4 top reasons why I actually chose to identify and to put myself into STEM Tech, hook, line, and sinker. Now, here's the reason number 1. STEM Tech, for me, represents the cutting edge of nutrition. What do I mean? Well, am I doing something wrong? Am I going the wrong direction? Maybe I am. That's it. Okay, now I got it. Thank you. Now I got it. Now, after World War II, we developed a lot of new technology, and this technology got turned on to the food supply. Because of the technology impact on food, we turned food from being an agricultural product to being an industrial product. So that today, anything you buy in the area of food, if you buy it in a supermarket or in a grocery, the chances are you're buying more industrial food. And I could go through that in great detail, but I think most people are very aware of that. We mill grain, we pasteurize and homogenize milk, and so on. We add all stuff that doesn't belong there. So eventually we end up with a product which is an industrial product. Because of that, we have depleted a lot of the essential nutrients in food. So soon after the war, we gave birth to the supplement industry. The supplement industry basically said, if you're not getting your essentials from your food supply, then you've got to add it. And the first thing down the pike were vitamins. Vitamins. So back in the 50s, we started off with vitamins, and everybody became aware that they're so-called essential vitamins that you have to eat because you can't make them in your body. So we started in a very small way of sort of vitamin industry, which today is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Everybody get that with a B. Multi-billion dollars of people taking vitamins. And let me plant the seed now. Why do people take vitamins? No, I'm going to ask the question. You don't have to answer me now. I'm coming back to that because I want you to be very aware. Next. After vitamins, we then went into the organic food business. We began to discover the importance of fiber and of herbal products. And so a lot of this started out with organic food stores and so on, and now we're probably into the 60s. Then we continued in antioxidants. Antioxidants came into the market, and then the omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. And then we went from that to the antioxidants. The key one was the one called glutathione, which we discovered inside cells to basically become an internal antioxidant system. I wrote a book about that. But glutathione became very important. And then we started looking at delivery systems in the late 90s. There's something called chelate-activated enzyme delivery systems here in the United States. In Europe, they developed a system called Fit for Life and so on. But finally, at the turn of the century, comes this big bombshell. And I call it a bombshell because stem cell nutrition is a bombshell in the wellness industry. Now, let me tell you why. You just heard it from Christian, and what a remarkable scientist Christian is. Let's give Christian a hand. I have the utmost respect. His name is going to go down in the history of the wellness movement because what he has done in making discoveries just opened up an avalanche of possibilities, which I will refer to in a minute. He just talked to you about the importance of enhancing the release of stem cells from the bone marrow and then circulating it and delivering it to the tissues and then getting it into the tissue. So I don't need to repeat all that. But I want to emphasize that stem cells represent the cutting edge, listen to this, of both medicine and nutrition. Now, some of you, unfortunately, have parked on the wrong bank. Some of you are still thinking of stem cells and medicine. How do I know that? Because I've been with you now for 2 days. And I've been listening. As long as you think of stem cells and medicine, you are going to lose the fight. Let me tell you why you're going to lose the fight. Because doctors have been in medicine much longer than you. There are far more doctors than there are of you. And people have far more respect for doctors than they do for you. So if you try to compete in stem cells and medicine, I guarantee you, you lose. But there's another area to stem cells, and this is the marvelous thing. There is something called stem cells and nutrition. Now, let me see if I could give you a very simple thing you could copy. Here it is. Everybody has stem cells. Everybody. Not people with MS or diabetes or hypertension. Everybody has stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells. This is not an option. This is not a choice. This is not something you like it or don't like it. Everybody uses stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells every day. Every day. Every day. Not when they hurt their finger. Not when they get the diagnosis. Not when they go hospital. Everybody has stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells every day. And the magic is that stem cells work. Stem cells work. How do we know they work? Every time you get a cut, you prove stem cells work. How do you heal? Stem cells. Every organ, every tissue, every part of the body that is constantly suffering cellular damage has to replace cells, renew cells, rebuild cells. And how do they do that? They renew by attracting and then utilizing adult stem cells. And how do we know they work? Because we're still here. Everybody has stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells every day. Stem cells work, and they work every time. So you don't have to tell somebody, why don't you try this to see if it works for you? You know how many of you have asked me just in the course since I'm here? You want me to tell you my story? Man, if I could tell you that I was diagnosed with something in my pancreas and I took these products and now I'm doing good, you would be so blown away. You'll say, wow, he belongs here. Suppose you ask me, what have you noticed since you started taking the STEM Tech products? And I say, not much. Do you say you don't belong here? Now let's get the question right, okay? Let me take a minute. This is very important. Very important. 24 hours after I arrived here, I became so aware because so many of you made me realize what you were doing. What do you tell somebody like me if I'm your neighbor? Wait till I get my finger cut by a ladder so that you could then tell me how to repair my finger with your STEM Tech products? What do you say to the person who you know who's 24 and in perfect health? Everybody has stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells every day. Stem cells work, and they work every time. Which means, in the area of nutrition, everybody pay attention. Nutrition is fundamentally health insurance. I have paid over the years over $1 million in health insurance to health insurance companies. What have I got for it? I paid over $1 million for health insurance to insurance companies and got zero. So when somebody tells me that they can't spend $50 a month, or $100 a month, or $150 a month to insure their health, they're up the wrong path. But let me now reassure you that the vast majority of people today are looking for health insurance. They're joining gyms, spending all this money, going in 3 times, and just forgetting it. Then they get on a weight loss program, they do it for 2 weeks, and then they stop, etc., etc. Today, millions of people around the world are now taking vitamins. That's why I mentioned it to you. They get the antioxidants. They're doing things that say, I want to be healthy, I want to stay healthy, I want to be young and vibrant and so on, and I want to do something for myself. That's your market. Did you get it? Now, let me say it more forcefully than that. If you wait till you find somebody who's got a physical problem to introduce STEM Tech, you're going to be waiting far too long. Because if you were in Orange County today, I don't know how many people are in Orange County, let's say 10 million, 5 million, 3 million, let's say 1 million, 1 million. If 1 million people who live in Orange County, how many today are in hospital? Very few. How many have major chronic illness? Very few. Most people got up this morning and they went and had a cup of coffee and they went bowling and they went to visit their family and they got on the highway and they're just going about their lives. But those are the people who have stem cells that work and work every time. So the first message is that stem cell nutrition is for everybody. It's a universal appeal. And if you miss it, you miss it. You will spend a lot of time wasted trying to find people to apply stem cell therapy. Have I got you? Okay. Stem cell nutrition is about everybody. Everybody doing something they need to do every single day to help their stem cells. Now, let me give you reason number 2. Talk is cheap. So, reason number 2, did I get it right? Yes. is that STEMtech is based on a clinical foundation, a clinical basis. This is very important to me. And I mentioned 3 specifics. Number 1, the patents. Number 2, the publications. And number 3, what I call the passion for excellence. Everybody in STEMtech needs to know this patent. You need to know that in 2004 there was a patent issued. The patent is entitled, all of you should learn this title, Method for Enhancing Stem Cell Trafficking. It's on the website. Man, when I was the first introduction, I got on the website, that was one of the first things I looked for. I found a patent and I went and I read it. Now, you don't all have to read the patent because some of it is technical. You don't have to do what I do, but all you should know it exists. And in the patent, you make claims. The claims are not because you gave your friend STEMtech products and something happened to them. That's an anecdote. This is a patented claim. Something totally different. So for me, and as you know, it's for the public at large, the patents verify what you do. The patents verify what you do. The second thing, the publications. Now, all of you are familiar, I hope, that Christian wrote 2 books. As soon as I found out I wanted a copy, Don sent me one, and then Christian gave me one, and I read, because I wanted to see what this was all about in detail. And the publication verifies what you do. But even more than just the books that Christian has written, all the publications that exist in the open medical and scientific literature. Now, this is vitally important because much of the time that you're telling somebody what the STEMtech products are going to do for them, they're thinking, who are you? What do you know? How do you know that? Did you go to school? You don't have to be any of that. You're just the conduit. You're just the person passing it along. You understand? What stands behind it is what's been documented and put in the literature. So, in the modern world, only modern science is compelling. And here in STEMtech, you have modern science on your side. Very, very important. I speak about a passion for excellence, constant improvement. You've seen that this weekend, that the products are constantly being improved because the more knowledge advances, the better the product should become. And that's a commitment from the company to be constantly making things better. And then quality assurance. It is so easy for companies over the years to become diluted, and the products begin to deteriorate. Quality is numero uno because you aim to do what is real. You're affecting cells, and cells don't know anything but the real McCoy, the real thing. So you're committed to quality and, of course, to clinical evaluation. That's where all the testing and all the various trials come in. Now, let me take you to reason number 3. Reason number 3 why I'm here. First, I told you it was because you're at the cutting edge of nutrition, because you have a clinical base, and now number 3, because of the founding pillars of the company. I live in Toronto, and in Toronto, we built the CN Tower, which when it was built was the tallest freestanding structure in the world at that time. And I watched them build the CN Tower, and before they built up, they built down. Because the taller the structure, the deeper the foundation. And if this business is going to become, as I predict it will, and I believe it will, probably the largest of all the nutrition supplement companies in the world, this one, it is important that you have the right foundation. So I went to, in my mind, justify the foundation of what we're about. And I identified what I call the founding principles. These are not the formal principles. These are my understanding of the principles because I detected, number 1, a focus on people. Very important. Not on business, not on dollars, not on people. both people who use the product and people who build the business, but the focus on people. Secondly, a regard for nature and science. Nature and science together, nature and science. Number 3, integrity, integrity, telling the truth, telling the truth, telling the truth. Number 4, a dedication to quality, to professionalism, to excellence, just the way things are done. When I went to the home office, they had no idea, but I was walking around and I was looking to see how they do things around here because I was looking for this. I wanted that sense that it was quality, it was classy, it was professional, it was not cutting corners, and so on. And finally, E. E stands for equal opportunity. Not equal outcome, equal opportunity, so that anybody from any walk of life, at any age, with any background, any level of education, any degree of success, can come to a company like STEMtech and literally become whatever they choose to be. That's equal opportunity. Secondly, the product line. I don't have to repeat this because needless to say, the company cannot become bigger than its product line will allow. There are some companies that come out, they go fast, they fizzle out, they're gone. But if you have the right products, then you're in for the long haul. Yeah. Number 3, the indispensable partnership. What's that? That's the partnership between the home office and the field. I know Don, and I know Don's commitment to this, and that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Because in this business, this type of industry, it's very important that you connect between those who manage the business, those on the home office end, and those who do the business in the field. That's one partnership. The other partnership is even more important, and it's the partnership that exists in the field. And here it is. Everybody in the field ought to have one arm reached up for help as a learner, and one arm reached down as a helper, as a teacher. If you get this link right in your business, you've got it made. But it's the partnership that counts. Number 4, a generous compensation plan. This is just another building block that makes the company great. And you've seen so much of this yesterday and today that I don't need to repeat anymore. I was amazed. I'm amazed. I've been around a lot of these companies. I've written books for several network marketing companies. I've worked with the companies. I didn't tell you this, by the way. I've actually built my own a business. I got into this business originally as a distributor. I came to network marketing. I built a very large network marketing business. And then when they discovered some of my skills, they asked me to go to a corporate level to do other things and so on. And since then, I've just sort of moved on to other things. But I've actually been there and done that. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. But I was amazed. At the generosity of your compensation plan. You should be very proud and very grateful to be here in STEMtech. Now, talked about the cutting edge. That was my first reason, cutting edge of nutrition. About the clinical basis of STEMtech products, second reason. The pillars, the foundation of the company, third reason. But here's the best reason of all. Reason number 4 is the challenge of the future. I am here because I'm a person who loves to live looking towards the sunrise. When you go home, check your bed and look to see which direction you face when you wake up. It is vitally important that when you wake up, you face east. Is that east? I don't know if that's east. But wherever east is, you better wake up facing east because the sun is rising. It's coming up. It's the birth of a new day. It's morning in America. Yeah. Yes. The opposite is sunset. And sunset is leading to darkness and cold and death. So I consciously live my life on tiptoe facing the sun. Everybody with me? Oh, I wish I could convey that to you. If my wife were here, she would tell you all about this. But I live my life on tiptoe, facing the sun, because the sunrise opens up all the possibilities of a new day. That's why God made it that way. Let me explain. When God made the world, he could have made the world flat, like one big carpet, and put the sun in the sky and let the sun shine all the time. We would all die quickly. Why? Because we would have no sense of night and day. We would have no sense of living life one day at a time. So the good Lord in his wisdom created our lives to be the sum total of little individual lives. Each one lasts 24 hours. So this morning I was born, and tonight I'm going to die. But tomorrow I'm going to be born again to live again. And that process, that cycle, gives me hope that every single day I get a brand new life. So here am I, on tiptoe facing the sunrise. When I come to STEM Tech, that's how I come. You're all watching me, getting up on my toes and looking at the sun. It's very important. Now, the challenge of the future. The challenge of the future, somebody said, is an awesome force. And all of you ought to have a sense, because you're here before me, so you should just have this even stronger than me and better than me and bigger than me, because I just got it. I'm just coming to my tiptoes. I just turned towards this STEM Tech sun. You guys have been watching it, and some of you haven't seen it yet. There is a challenge to do something local that's in my immediate environment. Start with yourself, your family, your friends, your neighborhood, your colleagues, your workmates, your county, your state, your country, and reach the globe. Local and global. Secondly, this is why the sun, you're facing the sun, okay? Here it is. When you come to STEM Tech, you come to an opportunity that allows you to become. You begin where you are, however you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, and you begin to grow. And in the process, you become something else. You start off the vast majority ordinary, and in time, you become extraordinary. What do I mean by that? If this STEM Tech experience works for you, you are going to become something beyond your wildest dreams. You're going to change, you're going to grow. And as you travel towards the sunrise, you're going to feel yourself literally expanding. You move from your apartment, you buy your first house. You move from your small house to a bigger house. You change your car. You start to travel. You start to do things. You start to have influence on people and help other people and change people's lives. And you're just becoming, because you're becoming extraordinary. Let me give you this one. Your paradigms change. Your lifestyle paradigms. Typical person, their lifestyle paradigm is to meet their needs every day. Meet their needs every day. Meet their needs every day. And they are content to meet their needs. And they perish their wants. They perish their wants. When you come to an open opportunity like this, you're able to go beyond your needs. And now you start to ask, what do you really want out of life? What do you really want to become? And you take the lid off, because you now are welcomed to the freedom of your imagination. Listen to this. Listen to this. I went to Disney World years ago, many years ago, and I went to the Epcot Center. And you've been to the Epcot Center? At the Epcot Center is one of my favorite places on earth. It is called the Pavilion of the Imagination. Journey into Imagination. And when you go into the pavilion, while you're waiting for them to open the doors, there is like a receiving hall. And written in the stone walls, as you look around the walls, is the following statement. Here it comes. Imagination is the preview of all life's coming attractions. Imagination is the preview of all life's coming attractions. What that means is this. Everything you see around you was imagined by somebody. This company you became a part of. This plant, somebody chose to put this plant here. Before this plant got here, somebody saw it here and therefore put the plant there. Electricity. Somebody imagined that one of these days we might be able to flick a switch and lights will come on, and here they are. Voila. Imagination. And the thing about imagination is that God gave us unlimited, unfettered imagination. So if imagination is the preview to all life's coming attractions, and I have an imagination that is unlimited and unfettered, I could have the types of attractions coming down the pike that I choose. And so the question then is, what am I choosing for myself? What am I choosing for the future? What kind of business do I want to have? What kind of difference do I want to make? Where do I want to be 10 years from now? Imagination, the freedom of imagination. And that's the possibility. That's what we live when we live facing the sunrise. Now let me finish and tell you this. Bobby Kennedy was known for this statement. Some people see things as they are and they ask why. Some people see things as they could be and ask why not. That's the freedom of the imagination. Why not? Why not do something really big with life? We only get one life, at least in this world. Why not you? Equal opportunity. Why not? Why not you? And I give you my personal challenge. Why not you? I mean you. Close your eyes. You. Why not you? Do you know how many people in the world are just content to watch others? Why not you? And then, why not now? Shakespeare said there is a tide in the affairs of men, which, when taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. If you want to know what STEMTech really is, here it is. And you're right there on the surfboard. If you want to, you take it now and go, because it will lead you to fortune. Okay, very important. Which brings me to my final comments. You heard Katie this morning talking about the Olympics. In the old days, when I used to look at the Olympics, I used to be very depressed. I didn't like the Olympics. I just didn't like the Olympics. I remember in 1988, Canadian sprinter called Ben Johnson, who later got this grace, won the Olympics in world record time. And I'm sitting down in my family room watching this. And when he did it, I almost cried. You know why? Because I was watching Ben Johnson do it, and I wished it was me. I was depressed. I'm a baseball fan, but I hardly ever go to a baseball stadium. Because while I'm watching a guy hit a home run and run the bases, I am depressed. How come it's not me? And I used to have this experience for years until one day it hit me like a ton of bricks. I don't need to go to the Olympics because I could have my own Olympics. I could choose what type of Olympics I want, what sport I want, when I want to have it, where I want to have it. I'll be the participant numero uno. I will give myself my own gold medal. I'll stand and applaud my own success. I'll go up on my own podium, put on my own gold medal, play my own national anthem, and little revel in my own success. Now that sounds funny to you. But did you hear what Katie said? She said this in such glowing terms. She said when other people were worrying about her, she was just reveling in her own success because she had set her own destiny. And when she achieved it, she was on the podium listening to her anthem with tears running down her cheeks. Which means all of us in STEM Tech, and you're going to hear me over the years challenging you over and over again, all of us have to set for ourselves with such grit and determination some passionate objective that when we achieve it, it will be to us the identical thing as Katie experienced when she got her Olympic gold medal. Because we define the terms and we achieve the success that we choose. Now, here's the simple process by which it happens. You begin with a dream. And by the way, will you forgive me for telling you this? I've been sitting for 2 days looking at this slide. And at the top of the slide, did you see these 3 words? Live the dream. And I've been dying sitting, waiting for those who would stand to talk about the dream. Dreaming, allowing our imagination to just soar to endless possibilities in terms of what we could do, where we could be, who we could influence, the lives we could change and impact. Dreaming, just dreaming, letting our imagination soar. And then, as we dream, we develop a desire. The dream draws us. Oh, Katie illustrated this so well. Oh, I'm so glad she came. She illustrated this so well. She wanted it. Oh, she wanted it. Oh, she wanted it. But she didn't want it in generalities. She was very focused. Did you hear talk about 440? 440? 440? 440? She was fed up of 440. So she focused. She was going to beat 440. When she got 434, yes! You need to have that in your own experience. Not just to listen to me talk or listen to Katie express it her own way. Each of us needs to have a 440. Each of us needs to have something that we are passionate about in our lives, in our business, in our family, in our neighborhood, and so on. Then, of course, you heard us say it didn't come easy. Determination. And finally, if you persist, you get to inherit your destiny. Now, I believe the destiny of STEM Tech is large, it's global, it's imminent, it's personal, and it's open. So each of us has got to make some decisions for ourselves. Don't get caught up in just becoming a therapist, a STEM Tech therapist. That's the last thing you want to be. It's going to make you very frustrated, very disappointed. It is hard work. Rather, I want you to get involved in becoming a dreamer, pursuing this dream with passionate desire, focused on some specifics, determined to achieve it so that you could inherit your own destiny. I think together we are all out for a beautiful ride. I'm so excited. You can tell that? I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Let me say two things. One is I'm probably coming to a city near you sooner or later. Number two, I'm preparing a book right now. I actually started the draft already. I'm preparing a book on stem cell nutrition. Okay? And you will have it probably, I don't want to make you a promise, but I'm holding myself to 6 to 8 months. You'll have it in the spring. But stem cell nutrition is to emphasize that everybody has stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells. Everybody uses stem cells every day. And they work every time. Fall in love with what you're doing. Fall in love with what you're doing. But dream, 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 dream big. Thank you very much.